Sure. So I wanted to share a process of setting standards because there was a great big time, many years in my adult life, definitely in my younger life. I didn't know what standards really were, what they meant. And I certainly didn't know how to apply them, create them. I certainly didn't. And even though my mom, she was a woman of value, of a certain stature and high standards for herself and for us as her family, children, certainly me as her only daughter. But I didn't know how to set standards for myself because I was a people pleaser like you wouldn't believe. I really wanted everybody around me to be happy, and that was at my own detriment a lot, many years, for many years. I let myself get stepped on. I was a doormat. I was just allowed myself to get used and abused, and I would forgive people that just without even thinking about it. You know, it was like, I cannot take that back without thinking about it because I would recycle it and I would stay in my head and I would wonder, why would I let them step on me? Why would I let them say things to me that hurt me and not say anything to them about it? No matter who it was. It could be a friend, it could be um, someone I was dating, it could be family, coworker. I really was. I let people take my kindness for weakness. I didn't know how to set those standards. But once I figured it out, everything changed. So I just want to share that with you because you might be in those situations. Hey, Norma, girl, that you really need to set those standards so that you can enjoy your life. It's hard sometimes to let go of relationships that are toxic, but they go against who you are or they pull you down. And you have to set the standard for your life in all areas. Otherwise, you'll accept anything. So I realized that and I got tired of it. So when you feel like you are being used and sometimes you have self-imposed obligations. For example, you get a lump sum of money and you just want to see everyone fulfill their dreams and you start shelling out money to them. And even if they've never given you anything a day of your life, no gifts, even if you don't know them too well, even if you know you won't even get so much of a thank you, you know, then setting standards is something that I would suggest you do. I've done all of that. I've done all of it. I'm a giver. I'm a gift giver. And by heart, I can't say, I don't want to say by default, but by heart. Is anyone like that? Where you're just a giver? And you love seeing the expression on someone else's face, the happiness. You love seeing them smile. You just want to help in that way, right? Norma's like, yes, right? Anybody else besides me and Norma? But that can get us into trouble, especially as a business owner. That can get you into big trouble. It can affect your profit. Well, your time is your number one asset. No matter what. No matter who you are, no matter what you do for a living, no matter what. Time. We don't get that back. Right? Green is like, oh yeah, definitely a giver. So the standards that we set are important to our own health, right? Don't forget, come in here and type in your pound 1111, okay? Your pound or your hashtag 1111. Opening of the spirit realm. So having a bar in any in any area of life, ask yourself, okay, so comment down below. Where is it that you need to stop letting people take advantage of you? It could be the job. Are you the one that stays late, that works on the weekend when nobody else does? Are you the one working 12, 16-hour shifts when everyone else is working 8? Are you the one that they automatically go to? Are you volunteering for overtime when you don't have to and then secretly complaining about it? Or just despising everyone else for living their best life on the weekend, and you take home your computer or show up at the job and no one's there but a security, you know? I used to be that person too. Sure did. So with the job, even if I was sick, I was afraid to say that. I was afraid to not show up, afraid to go home, had a migraine. I was afraid to leave my desk. Then I realized, Nikki, this company is not going to shut down without you. Whether you're here or not, they're going to keep running. Just like they hired you, they've hired everyone else. You are on contract. That's what that is. That's a contract, and that's a part of your contract. But you have a contract with God. God gave you that body. God gave you this life. And how are you putting that before you, your life, and your relationship with God? So I had to check myself with that. And then a girlfriend of mine said something to me that changed my whole perspective completely. This was my messenger. She definitely gave me my spiritual guidance. And she said, I used to be you. And she said, I will never ever give another company all of me, because then I go home and I don't even have it for myself. She said she realized she was going home, going to sleep. Some days she wouldn't even eat because she would just be too tired. Well, guess what? She was telling me what I was doing, and I never shared that with anybody. So I knew that God was talking to me through her. So I began to say, okay, well, I don't have any children. At the time, I didn't. But I secretly envied the parents who would leave, and they would be saying, I got to get out the door. I got to go to daycare. I can't be late. And I knew the time, 6:30. If they were late, if they were late, if they got there by before or after 6:30. So they had that window. I didn't even know any of how that worked or anything. I would just hear them talking about it. And I was begging God, why am I not a mom? I want to be a mama. You know, when is it going to be my time? And so Divine Source started saying, you know, leave. You are a mama. You got eggs. You are a mama already. Your eggs are in you. Your babies are in you. Billions of them. Leave and tell them you got to go. And so as soon as they was, and I felt so weird. I remember the first time I did it, I felt so strange. But I got up and I left. And I said, I got to go. And I did it. And I felt weird, like I was doing something wrong. You know? The weird part really was that I should have been doing it all along. And that was the first time I set a standard for the job, that my time is valuable. And even though I don't have children, I didn't have at the time, I still need to have my time valued because I was disrespecting myself. Has anybody else ever done that? You know? And then I started leaving. But I wanted a baby. I wanted to be a mom. So I knew to follow my spiritual guidance too. And I started going up to different daycares and checking it out and just feeling that energy. I probably looked really strange, you know, in the parking lot. But guess what? That little baby girl came after doctors told me that I would never have kids. They told me, don't even try to get pregnant because you will die and so will your baby. If it goes to the left, we cannot save you. And I was like, okay, well, God's got this. So my little baby girl was born naturally. My daughter was 8 pounds, 4 weeks early. Beautiful, blessed, healthy. I remember I took my little pole, you know, the IV pole, and because the nurses were taking quite some time to bring her back, and I went and saw them all they were standing around this little baby, and this was when the babies were all in a room, and they were standing around my daughter, and I'm like, what? I did like this on the window. They all were like, and one of them came out and said, we were just admiring your baby girl's hair. She's so beautiful. Her hair, she had so much hair when she was born. You couldn't put her little hat on. It would just rise up. As soon as you put it on, it rise up and just, psh, that's it. And God did that. So I guess my point is I stopped giving my time and my best self to other people in relationships. You know, I didn't always know my worth. I assumed I assumed that my partners respected me. I assumed that you know, that they were worthy of me. I assumed. I prayed. I ignored signs, red flags. I ignored God. And, you know, I think once I became aware that I'm worthy of the very best from everybody, not to say that I'm perfect, but I know what I want. Once I knew what I wanted, then things changed and I stopped accepting less. And I just unapologetically have walked away from anything that is something that feels like a struggle, you know? So that standard that you set for yourself, it will kind of move into every area of your life. And it's centered on your worth. What are you worth? What are you worth? Are you worth sometimes being respected. And I'll give you an example. Somebody that I was dating, um, we would get into, it wouldn't be an argument. It would be when things got tough. And if we had to talk on the phone, then it wouldn't be love you, talk to you later, anything like that. It would be hang up the phone in my face, get done talking, hang up the phone in my face before I could say anything, before anything else was going to be said. It was like a race to hang up the phone, and I felt disrespected. But I started, using my I feel statements. I've told you all about that. I highly recommend you use those I feel statements. And that helped me realize, wait a minute, this is going against a standard that I have set for myself that I didn't even know existed. So, having a bar of what you deserve and what you don't deserve in every area of life is setting that standard in which you'll live by. And it will get easier. So when someone tells you something that doesn't resonate with you but makes you feel awful, or someone does something to you, it makes you feel awful, you have the right to excuse that person from your life, family or not. I have my biological father. He used to be extremely disrespectful, just awful comments. And I blocked him, and I just wouldn't answer the phone because every time I did talk to him, it was very stressful. And stress kills. Stress kills. We know that. The medical industry has proven that. You can look on my YouTube page, Nicole Honore V, and I just put something out there today on stress. You can please join us in our private lifestyle medicine group. It's Healthy Changes Through Lifestyle Medicine on Facebook. Learn some more tips about that. But stress kills. Stress kills. And so my heart would start racing. I would break out in whelps talking to him, or be stressed out over something he said or did, or trying to please him. And once I got through that, I realized, oh no, I felt like he controlled me. And whenever you feel like somebody has control over you, that's no good. That's no good. You control your life. You work with the Most High on what your journey is. Get your blessings, bless other people, but you control you. You have free will. So I would do that, and then it was years and years and years that I hadn't talked to him. I had completely cut him out of my life. And one day I got a call. It was an unknown number, and I knew it was from him. Spirit told me, it's your dad. And I was like, I answered, hello? And it was him. First thing out of his mouth was a smart comment. And I said, nothing. I just did like this, and I just felt it. But then I realized that goes against my standard for myself. My standard is I deserve respect in every way. And so that was that. I didn't give him a reaction. And do you know what he said to me, spiritual superstars? He said, wow, you really have changed. There was a time that you wouldn't even have answered the phone. And there was a time that I would have said this and you would have said that. And that was it. That let me know a lot. Because the reality is people will do what you allow them to do, no matter who they are. And my own biological father knew that he was getting over, that he was stressing me out, that he was not being good, that he was causing me harm. He knew it. And his reaction that day let me know that he knew it. So instead of letting it hurt my heart, it just let me know, good job, Nikki, for setting a standard, because that was the last time I talked to him. And that was it. And it was unapologetic. I make no bones about it. That people that are not, that make me, that it feels like a struggle, I just don't have them in my life. And that opened up the doors to people that love me, that I love, that we can disagree. We don't always have to like each other either, but we thoroughly love each other and we value each other and we feel like it's a blessing to be in each other's lives. That right there is my standard. So I encourage you to set that, you know. Anna, I'm praying for my tubes so I can conceive. Praying. You know, see that vision. I'm doing a vision board party tomorrow, spiritual superstars. So I think, you know what, we might do it on YouTube. You know, why not? Why not do it on here? It's at 11. And I didn't send out anything. That was not good. I didn't do that right at all. But maybe it's supposed to be on YouTube. We can do that. It's at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, okay? So, whatever you have, you know, if it's a magazine, if you don't, I actually went and bought a magazine because they're expensive now. I don't know what happened with that, but they're like $10 for a magazine. I think that's ridiculous. But, you know, guess they got to make their money too. Nobody's looking at them or something. But I went and got one because it was on a topic that I'll show you tomorrow. Think you'll like it too. It was pretty. I didn't even know they made this kind of a magazine, but it was awesome. So I'm going to use that. I'm going to use a couple more and make this vision wall. And because I'm working on some serious things. So I definitely invite you to join me. And you can use magazines. You can use clippings from anything. You can get the magazines from anywhere. You know, the gym, the Y, doctor's office, any kind. Hair salons are great. They have a great amount of magazines usually. The library still has magazines, so you can, you know, you can find Goodwill. Those they have magazines too. So, you know, yeah, green onions, and so we're gonna do that. a vision board party. And it's a vision, okay? So it's what you really want in your future. Nothing from your past. So you can draw, you can write words, do what works for you. I'll go over best practices and what has worked for me in the past and why it's so important to do a vision board. And so if you're going through a different change in your life, if people have told you, you need to do a vision board, and you're hearing it again right now, take it as a sign and just fit it into your day. And just log in here at 11 a.m. tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to hit the 11:11 mark. That's the whole purpose of us doing it at 11. And I'm just going to share my process because it absolutely works. When you get a vision board and you look at it and you realize, wait a minute, I need to take this down because all of those things have manifested, or most of them have manifested. That's a great feeling. That's a great, great, great feeling. Let me tell you. So, and when you realize none of them have manifested, you know you need to do it over. So it goes both ways. It's a process, I think. It's a process. But anyway, back to the standards. Set your standards. And yes, 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 Bo, Tiffany, all praises to the Most High. Set your standards for every relationship in life. And that way, when people do something, oh, they crossed the line. But how will they know they crossed the line if you don't have a standard to share with them? Okay? I tell my kids that, I didn't know, so I teach them. What is your standard? With friends, what's the line they can't cross? What's the line you don't cross for yourself? So definitely don't let other people. One of my clients, he has been smoking for 40 years. And he is, he works 12-hour shifts, 4 days on, 4 days off, or 3 days off. And when he was off last time, it was a couple times, so he's been at this about a month. Now, mind you, 40 years smoking, he went from a pack a day to a pack a week to 3 cigarettes in 4 days. 3 cigarettes in 4 days. Phenomenal. Talk about discipline, right? He said, no, that wasn't discipline. That was because I didn't feel like getting up. He said he didn't feel like leaving the house. The weather was bad. It was cold out. He was like, I don't feel like leaving. So we didn't leave. He said he had 3 cigarettes to stretch out. For the 4 days, he refused to go to the store and leave the house. He said he's off work. He's going to laze around the house. He has nothing else to do but himself. That's it. And that's what he did. And he said since he could do that, he stretched it out. And we made a goal he made a goal, and I'm supporting him in his goal as his coach, to do 3 cigarettes every time he's at home. His standard is this: he will not smoke in his house. He will not smoke in his house, and he will not let anyone else. And that's what he said. He said, I will not let anyone smoke in my house. I don't smoke in my house. I will not. That's how he said it. That's a standard. Where you are convicted, your convictions are your standards. I didn't know that for years. So I encourage you to take some time and sit with yourself, because you're always sitting with God. Sit in the silence create those standards, ask, what are your convictions? Ask yourself. Your human's going to tell you, because our human goes through that fear, that fight or flight. Our human feels wronged. Our human feels the disrespect. Our human feels the fear of standing up for ourselves. But that's where the conviction has to be placed inside of that space. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Let's say you have a frenemy, and you know they're a frenemy. You know they really don't mean you too well. But maybe they're popular in school, or maybe, they're the one that they're well liked and you're kind of quiet. Or maybe they're always borrowing money or something, but you feel like they talk about you. Whatever it is, in that moment that you wish you could stand up for yourself, that's in the moment. That's where the conviction has to go. So what would you say to yourself? What would you say to them is what you're saying to yourself, right? So that's the basis of the standard. So for example, if you find out your friend is talking about you, they said something negative or something like that, then they've broken your standard that you have for yourself. Would you say that to them? You say, no, I would never talk about someone like that. Okay, then that's a standard you have for yourself, right? So you make sure everybody respects that standard that you set for yourself. Therefore, you are applying that in your relationship with others. Okay? So, yeah, I hope that makes sense. For the job, if a manager is just always coming to you to work overtime, or is not talking respectfully to you, would you allow that for your child? Would you sit back and let your child be talked to that way by someone else? Set that standard, you know. Someone told me they were okay with corporal punishment, with letting their girls be spanked in a school. I almost fainted. I was just like, that's not me. That's never gonna be me, ever, 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 ever. Never, okay? Ever. Mm-mm. I didn't even want my kids to be yelled at from my own mama, Never. Or disciplined. I had, just, it's hard. But to be spanked by someone that is not their nana, or not their dad or me, or to be spanked, punished by a school official? But that's the standard I have for me and my children. He, on the other hand, that's not the standard he had for his kids, and these were girls. And high school girls. So, or middle school. And he was like, if they did something that warranted them getting a spanking or getting that form of discipline, he was like, it's in the Bible, spare the rod. And I was like, oh, yeah, I know. First of all, not everyone follows the Bible. It is a sacred spiritual text, and I understand that. I respect it. But it's also a lot of interpretation, and words have been changed, gender have been changed, so there's a lot of questions in the Bible, a lot of arguments around it. But what is your standard? And so I was like, there's too many pedophiles. There's too many predators in the school system and outside of it for me to okay anybody getting pleasure out of disciplining my child with a paddle. You don't know what's going on in their mind. You don't know. You don't know. You don't know. You don't know. So that's my standard, right? His standard was different. But if I agreed with him and in my soul, I'm like, that doesn't sit right with me. But maybe he's right. Yeah, y'all deserve that. Go on ahead and get the paddle. Uh-uh. So you have to know what your standard is, right? I hope that makes sense. Real truth. You sent me an email? I'm so sorry. Where'd you send it? Over a month ago and I didn't reply. I'm so sorry. Send it to NicoleOnRayV@gmail.com. I am very sorry I haven't responded to your email. Please forgive me. I get a lot of emails. I try to, I do try to get to all of them. I'm very sorry. But Mercury was retrograde last month too, so we can we can definitely, chalk it off to that sometimes. But yeah, so set those standards. You're gonna upset some folks, but that's okay. That's okay. Some people are happier with who you used to be than who you are becoming. And that's okay. You're growing. They just may not be the people that are going to be growing with you. And that's okay. Because Spirit will always place the right people in your life in the right time. And you get to decide who stays and who has to go. And I always encourage, start with yourself. Sometimes you have to be the one to go. Close that door. No matter what. There's so many people that, as parents, sometimes you have to, it's hard. Sometimes parents have to cut the door off from their own child. There's so many different circumstances that warrant it, I believe. But having that standard, there's another client of mine that her son is a recovering addict, a heroin addict. And he was taken from her and her mother. She was taking care of her mother. They all lived on the same property. And so, he would leave their house in the middle of the night and go to Nana and Papa's house and steal from them. And it was a big mess. So her standard changed and it took a lot out of her, but she had to really toughen that side of who she is in order to, I think she kind of forced him into getting help. But she also was able to kind of regain the reins back to her own life too as a parent and work through the guilt because she had a lot of it. But, it's going to be different for everybody. So your standard. So I know someone on here is trying to conceive, Anna. So my suggestion to you, or my opinion, if you had asked, would be set your standard. I knew I wanted to have a beautifully blessed baby girl. My son, a healthy, blessed baby boy. Oh, gorgeous. I was very blessed. My children were absolutely beautiful. And I say that as their mama. I know they were gorgeous. And they were absolutely beautifully blessed. They were healthy. And I was healthy. We had healthy pregnancies, healthy deliveries. That's the vision that I had. That's what I saw. And that's what I would say. I let go of the house. The mortgage company, I was like, you could take the house. You could take it. Take it. I called the car dealer. Come get this car. I don't want none of it because it's too stressful and it's hurting my baby when I was pregnant with my daughter. She needed to make it. My first baby that was going to make it, and she was going to make it. So that vision, set that standard. Anything that was going to stress me out, I would not let it enter my hemisphere. Okay? Remember what I said, stress kills. So definitely don't let your life go because you're trying to please somebody else. You know, your life is so important. You matter. You matter. So if you are, let's say you're going home every night and you really don't want to be doing that. You really want to explore life and you want to enjoy life. You have that right. Write it down. What are the things that you like to do? Some of us don't know that. You know, what are the things you like to do? Not what your friends like, not what your partner you like, not even your family. None of that. What do you like to do? You might like to draw. You might like to water paint. You might like to do knitting. You might like to try different cuisines. You might love to read. Your thing might be sitting in a corner in the library versus doing audibles or audiobooks. Versus your friends might be they like audible, you know, they like being in a cafe on the internet. You're just like, you can't stand it. What do you like to do? That's good that you know you don't like it, but what do you like to do? And then start allowing that into your life because what happens is magical. Spirit definitely sends those people that enjoy the same thing into your life. Got a really good investor friend. Most of my friends are investors. They are focused on business and focused on helping people. Really good people. Those are the people that I'm around mostly, are very successful and a high dose of self-respect. Well, I started focusing on my own money, and on my vision board, my last vision board, I had successful serial investor. And that is coming true. And it is because I believe that I've had it on that vision board forever. And I had it probably about a year and a half. I had that vision board. The universe starts sending you in that path. You start going in that path. And you start developing that path, cultivating it. I started really enjoying the company of a really good friend of mine. We met when my kids were, we were my kids' age. And he is a very successful investor. And he just started showing. We were on the phone the other day for like 5 hours. And it felt like we were on the phone for like 30 minutes. A good 30 minutes of just intense writing stuff down that he was sharing with me. But it was 5 hours. And that connection is more than a resource. I absolutely love him. And we've known each other practically all our lives. So I say that because we've been connected since we were my kids' age, but we were not connected. Okay, we were not, we hadn't deepened our relationship, if that makes sense. And then at the same time, I have been brought into different investor groups from different friends. So set that standard, because the other side of that, of me putting it on my vision board and me going in that direction and welcoming that beautiful fresh air, the energy, you just be like, ooh, this feels good. This person feels good to my soul. I resonate with what they're saying. I like it. I want to hear more. I want more. The other side of that is you letting go of what doesn't resonate with you. The complaining, friends that were like, they're always broke. Okay, I don't want to hear all of that. I don't want to hear it because that's not my life and it's not going to be my life. And I understand if people are having financial issues because I've been there. But I don't understand when someone doesn't want to do something about it. And I don't understand complaining about it because I do understand that is a challenge. It needs a solution and going to that solution. But if I'm repeatedly hearing, I don't have the money to do that, or I ain't gonna say that. They don't have the money to do this, they don't have the money to do that, then that's not energy that I wanna mimic. And you mirror who you're around. It's the way it is. So I let go of some folks because it felt toxic. Those connections, not to say that I don't love them, but I just am not growing with them. And that is a standard being set. So when you're awakening, Spirit's going to be showing you what standards you're setting, what requirements you have, where your values are, what you like, where your interests are changing, who you're not going to be bringing with you, and who's being replaced. And it's all okay. People that are waiting for you to make that connection with them are loving you for who you are becoming and who you will be. People that are more comfortable with who you used to be are staying in your past. And you have to be unapologetic with that. You have to welcome that blessing because that means that you're growing. And it means that you have welcomed the fact that you deserve so much more than you have ever given yourself the opportunity to even receive. And that can be scary. Let me show you this real quick. We are basically a cat rescue right now, okay? I don't know how that happened, it just happened. But let me show you what you might have just heard the hissing. Let me show you what this is. This is Mercy. Mercy is unique as ever. And yes, she sits wherever she wants to, wherever she wants to. Okay, she's the queen. Sharon is everyone's friend. Mercy can't stand anybody, but Sharon loves everybody. So Sharon was just looking at Mercy like, please love me. And Mercy just hissed. I want you to see her face. Look at that face. I don't know how we got to be a cat family, but we did. Just had to show you that little interlude. So set the standard for yourself, and if there's anything that I could ever do for you, I'm here. But tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm going to have the vision board party. I guess I can have it on here on YouTube. We can just... But then I can't interact with you all. You know what? I'll put it on, let's put it on Zoom. I'll put it on Zoom. Not everybody has Zoom. Maybe we should do YouTube. We'll do it here. We'll do it here. And even if you don't have any materials for your vision board, don't worry about it, Maybe that'll be kind of a meditative vision board for you. Or maybe you could be putting something on your phone. Remember, a vision board is your vision manifested on paper. So it's your plan and it's your vision. Some of us have to have that visual to manifest. And we see it, we're drawing it to us, and we're moving towards it. So I hope to see you tomorrow. I'll be back at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow, and we'll get some goals together. Thank you so much. You are so welcome. All right. Well, you all have a beautifully blessed night, and I love y'all, spiritual superstars. Do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if you resonate with what we say here, and our loving vibe. I love y'all so much. You're amazing. Well, rock it out, spiritual superstar, and I'll see you tomorrow.